Hey guys, thank you for watching my videos again. So this one is going to be our 4.1 to 4.3 quiz. For some of you it's going to be a test grade or it could be a quiz grade, okay? Depending on your class. So on this one we're just going to review all of 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3, and I hope you really pay attention. If you get confused any part that you don't understand, go back to that video that goes with that lesson, okay? So first we're going to move our fractions to percents. So if we have 3/20ths, and we have to change 3/20ths into a percent. First, I'm going to make my denominator a 100 because remember, we love when our denominator is 100 because it's very easy to tell what the percent will be if it's over 100. 20 times what will give me 100? We know 20 times 5 will give us 100. What you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top, guys. You have to do it to the top. So now 3 times 5, we all know that is 15. So my percent equals 15%. So I started at a fraction, I ended at a percent, okay? We can do another one. Let's try 11/8. All right, this one, normally we would try to get our denominator to be 100, but nothing times 8 will give us 100, guys. So when you realize that, you have to go to your next option. Your next option is to divide, all right? Turning that fraction into a decimal first. So my 8 will be on the outside of my house. My 11 will be on the inside. 8 can go into 11 one time, okay? So it can't go into the 1, but can go into the 11. 11 minus 8, get 3. All right, now you have to bring down a 0. Put your decimal, don't forget that. Put that decimal there. Bring yourself down a 0. All right, so when you bring down that 0, you get 30. So we know 8 times 2 is 16, but then if we do 8 times 3, what will that give us, guys? Let's think about that. That'll give us 24. 30 minus 24 is 6. Bring down another 0. 8 goes into 60 how many times? This is when it gets a little bit more trickier. This is why you need to know your facts. Well, let's work off to the side. We know 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6, 48. 8 times 7, that would just be 48 plus 8. 56. So the 8 times 7 is going to be the highest that can go into our 60 over here. So we're going to put our 7. We get 56. Subtract that, we have 4 left over. Add another 0. So 8 goes into 40. We know that one. That one's easy for us. 5 times, okay? So now we get this decimal, okay? We get 1.375. All right. So now from here, we have to turn this in and figure out what our percent is going to be. Now, what you used to learn was to put this over 100, do that kind of stuff, but guys, we've got to keep it as easy as possible for ourselves. We have already learned how to take a decimal and turn it into a percent yesterday. So let's keep doing that. Let's make it easier for ourselves. Going from a decimal to a percent, you move it 2 times to the right. My percent ends up being 137.5%. That was my fast and easy way of doing it. Now, let's move down here. We're now going to start with percents to decimals. Okay, so if I have the percent, if I have 55%, okay, and I'm trying to move that to a decimal, I just take my decimal and move it 2 spots to the left. My new decimal is 55 hundredths. If I have 1.3%, I move my decimal 2 times to the left. I get 13 thousandths. Okay? Now, next, if we're doing decimal to percent, with our decimals to percent, same thing but backwards from this up here, okay? If I have 21 hundredths, turning that into a percent is 21%. I knew that because take my decimal, move it 2 spots to the right, okay? If I have 1.34, so 1 34 hundredths as my decimal, my percent is going to be 134%. All I did was move it 2 times to the right. Now, the next part we have to review, this is from 4.3, which is greater, okay? So if I have 11/15 or 74%, all right? So now when you're doing this, I would suggest that you turn this right here into a percent, so your 11/15. Now when you do your 11/15 into a percent, think about it. Can 15 times something give you 100? So take a moment and think about that. Nothing times 15 will give you 100, okay? So what you're going to have to do is your backup plan. 15's on the outside of the house. 11's on the inside of the house. You're going to have to divide. 15 cannot go into 1. It cannot go into 11. Place your decimal, move it on up. Add a 0. How many times can 15 go into 110? Now, you might not know this off the top of your head, and that's okay. What you can do is you can try out. Let's try out, let's say 15 times 7. Let's see what we get. Oh, I got 105. That's probably as close as I'm going to get, right? So we know 15 times 7 is 105. 5 remaining. Get yourself a 0, bring it down. How many times can 15 go into 50? Well, we know 15 times 2 is 30. That's just something we know, okay? Now 15 times 3 would be 30 plus 15, which would give us 45. And that's as close as we're going to get to this 50. So we're going to do, goes in there 3 times, we've got our 45, subtract it out, we have 5 left over, okay? Get a 0, bring it down. We have our 50 again. Go in there 3 times, give us 45, 5 left over. So it looks like we're going to have repeating. So it's going to be 73, sorry, my decimal is 733 thousandths repeating, okay? Now we have to turn this into a percent. The percent is going to be 73.3 repeating percent, okay? Or 74%. Which one is greater? Well, we know our 74% is greater, okay? Because 74 is bigger than 73.3. So your answer would be your 74%. Let's try another one. Let's do 3% or 3/10. Which is greater? Let's turn this into a percent because that's easy, okay? 2 spots to the right, 1, 2. This becomes 30%. You still have your 3%. Which one is greater? Our 30% is greater. But our answer we're going to write is 3/10 because that's the number from our original equation. So that'll be my answer in the end, okay? All right, guys, I hope this made sense to everyone. And if you need any help, come see me. Please do the practice problems that I'm going to list in the description. It'll help you. If you make any notes from this video, do any practice problems, come bring them to me, okay? I'd like to look over them. Thank you, guys.